Hey guys, it's Bree. Welcome back to Ladies Night In. If you have not been to a Ladies Night In before, it is a time where we talk about a book that is written by women you can read in one night. So I will be right back. I'm going to go get my glass of wine. You can pause and go get yours too. Okay, I'm drinking a red tonight, which is fun. I figured this time around we would talk about We Who Are About To. This is by Joanna Russ. Joanna Russ is known for being kind of a counterpoint to Ursula Le Guin's brand of feminist science fiction. She, in fact, was very critical of books like Left Hand of Darkness, which she said, in fact, perpetuate the stereotypes that we have about gender in kind of a backhanded way. She's known for writing numerous short stories and essays. She has over 50 published short stories. And for being somebody who very explicitly has been influential in feminism and science fiction. She's been interviewed at Worldcon, at WisCon, by Samuel Delaney, just kind of has been all over the place and is very adamant that politics and kind of the patriarchy, so to speak, have a role to play in science fiction. She said that she'll stop talking about feminism and science fiction when people stop putting politics in their books. Speaking of her short stories, this is in fact originally one of them. This is a book that was printed in Galaxy Short Stories magazine, originally in 1977, I believe. And it's been since published on its own. This is one of the books that's really well known for, because it's one of the books by Russ that's commonly studied in women's studies classes. A lot of her books are, including, of course, The Female Man in many of her short stories and essay collections, but this is in particular one of them. The book is really critical of kind of sending people into space for these high-minded, explore the galaxy kind of quasi-imperialist structures, which is another interesting point to the story. This is kind of an oral diary. In We Who Are About To, a small crew of people kind of mistakenly lands on this Earth-like planet. There are 6 of them, 3 men, 3 women. And the story takes a very dark turn. The main character is kind of in line with Quakerism, but it's much more of a mishmash of past religions. She is not quite what you would call a drug addict, but certainly a drug user. And she is taking this kind of diary entry series on a small voice recorder that she has with her, that she has kind of smuggled away. When the group accidentally lands on this planet, when they start taking refuge there, the main character is extremely depressed, hopeless, really, beyond words. And she expresses this to the rest of the group, who very quickly start to revert to patriarchal norms. At the point that this book originally takes place, that's kind of something that we're all past. And when they crash land, all of a sudden they switch from these kind of more enlightened views to, oh my god, we have to protect the human race. Which the main character points out is kind of a flawed jump. Right? The chances of 6 people perpetuating the human race when like 3 of them are basically past child-rearing age or child-begetting age is kind of ridiculous. Let alone because they don't really know if the planet will sustain them for any kind of period of time. They don't know if plants are edible or where to take refuge and things like that. And the main character points out that they're going to very quickly become kind of people of the Dark Age. The story is really interesting, not so much because of that in and of itself, but because of the very slow degradation of the relationships that the characters have and the mental state of the main character. It's really a book that's markedly noted for really countering the very humans will conquer all approach that many people in the 70s were taking to science fiction. It's not like that at all. And it's a book where the main character is both a female and fairly violent, which is different in and of itself. It's not really the norm. The book is about 110 pages, more or less. The introduction in this version is by Samuel Delany, which is very neat. So it's a very quick read. The book itself takes place in these kind of oral entries, so they don't really go for more than a page or two before it skips to the next day or the next couple days. And it's really dark, like I've said. It's really, I don't want to say disconcerting to read, because I don't know that that's necessarily what I mean. But it is not that normal humans will conquer all. It isn't. And slowly over time, it becomes more and more disturbing because the main character, the person who's actually doing the entries, becomes more and more mentally unstable, and that's reflected in the kind of narrative that she's giving of what's happening on the planet. It's really worth the read, I think. It's interesting. And there's a lot of really introspective thought in there. There are some moments where, especially as the character gets more and more unstable, she's kind of trying to be philosophical, and you can tell that it's not really working, and that it's very heavily influenced by this degrading mental state that she has. And so she becomes more and more unreliable over time, which is something that I really like in a story. I think it is really worth reading. I think it's a much more approachable story than something like The Female Man, which jumps around a lot and has a lot of different characters. To me, The Female Man is a very disjointed story, whereas this is much more coherent. And I really enjoyed reading it. If you have read The Female Man or We Who Are About to, I'd be really interested in your thoughts on both, especially kind of the weight between them. I hope you're having a fantastic reading week. Thanks for joining me for Ladies Night In, and I will talk to you later. Bye.